Welcome back to the Print on Demand cast. This week we're talking about free and inexpensive marketing ideas for print on demand. Let's get into it.
Radical! Welcome to this week's episode of the Print on Demand cast. Each week, join the gnarly Travis and Josiah as they provide insight into the print on demand industry and equip you with the totally tubular tools, advice, and strategies you need to achieve success and hopefully have a few laughs along the way. Now on to this week's Totally Tubular show.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Print on Demand cast. And my goodness, we're back in person. It feels like it's been forever, but here we are. Joining me as always, Travis Ross from Make Your Mark Design. Travis, the last couple of weeks have been a little nuts when it comes to schedules and day jobs and, you know, the things that afford us the time to do this thing. So it's a little ships in the night, if you were. So
yeah, it's summer, so lots of things going on, and we're I guess this will air next week because we're recording this. Pull back the curtain. We're recording this a week before. We're like actually ahead of the game.
Like 7 days.
So weird.
Ahead.
So we're actually planning on going out of town camping. And then again, next week for the 4th of July, we're going to go camping.
Right.
And so there's like a lot of camping happening in the Ross household. So we needed to get this out, but that also means that we're busy and, getting the camper put back together. We got a little pop-up that we like to use, and it got invaded by rodents. And so if you have ever had to clean out a camper with rodents, you know what I'm talking about. It's a pain in the ass.
That's terrible.
It really is. So that's what we've been dealing with, and just kind of getting everything ready. But here we are.
Yeah, we're here and we're doing it. We're doing the thing. And you know how long it's been since I've been camping, and I'm not joking you. It's probably been over 20 years since the last time I actually went camping. Yeah, I went a lot when I was younger and in middle school, but I just hasn't happened.
I don't get it. It's so much fun, man. In fact, you should come with us. That'd just be great. We'll pitch a tent right next to us. Yeah.
The thing. That's the thing is I'm the guy that's like, hey, because our church has a men's camping trip as well. And it's like, you're gonna come, and I'm like, well, is there like a cabin or like a camper or like because I'm not pitching a tent. I'm not sleeping on the floor. So it's usually where my opportunity to go camping ends. I'm like, are we doing this my way or like backpacking 3 days through the mountains, sleeping on the floor? Because I won't do the latter. So that's usually why that happens. But as you mentioned, Travis, when people are listening to this, it is the day before the 4th of July. Yeah! So we're going to say happy 4th of July to all of you guys. Hope you all are having a safe and happy 4th of July. I know I have some family coming into town, and I think 4th of July has slowly become one of my favorite holidays to the extent where I have like months ago bought the stuff that I wear for the 4th of July because it's the outfit's going to be on point. So very excited. Maybe I'll take pictures and post to the Print on Demand cast Instagram story what we're doing. Maybe we should both do that. Just kind of document our 4th of July's on the story. And then you guys can let us know what you are doing as well. But happy 4th to everybody out there in the Print on Demand cast multiverse. So we've got a lot in store for you today for our first episode back since the 200th. Our first one, but I like how in the 200, like, man, consistency is the thing. And I was gone, and then it was a rebroadcast. And so I guess, that's what happens. Keep your words soft and sweet in case you have to eat them. But in our main event, we're going to be talking about, again, free and inexpensive marketing ideas for print on demand. So you're not going to want to miss that. But before we get there, we're going to go to everyone's favorite segment, the weekly dad joke.
Time for the weekly dad joke.
All right, Travis, this week's weekly dad joke is as follows. So my wife has a strict policy against Billy Joel jokes. So as a result, it hasn't happened in the longest time. For context with Billy Joel, it's a song.
For the longest time.
Yes, thank you, Barney and Ted from How I Met Your Mother. That show's back on Netflix. Good to watch. It's a good time. So that's this
Until
week's
the last show.
Yeah,
But
it is.
I digress.
So we're going to move right ahead into our next segment, which is actually really cool. I'm actually really excited to talk about this because it kind of seems like the thing that we wish existed when we were doing this. But we can still tell people and let them take advantage of it. So that being said, we're just going to get right into this week's point of interest.
Point of interest.
All right, Travis, tell us about what we are going to be talking about for this point of interest. Very, very cool thing that we have to talk about today.
It's a website called FourthWall, and some of you may have heard of it before. It's been around for a little while. I don't remember when I heard about it, maybe a year ago or so, but it's kind of what it's similar to what we were attempting in both of our businesses to do with Deco Network, by creating websites for our customers and then allowing them to sell their print-on-demand products. And then we would obviously produce the products and make our money on the back end. And so FourthWall has kind of taken that idea and really expanded on it. It's very, very cool. And I'm the one who introduced it to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before. And then you're like, we should talk about FourthWall. And, I studied theater. So I'm like, is that the thing we're not supposed to break? But but it's really, really cool to see what they're doing and how kind of easy they're making it here.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, this some case studies here, but the site, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see like some of the websites, and it's way sexier than Deco Network ever was. And so the fact that you can build a print-on-demand site and sell physical products too. That was one thing that I absolutely was some of the most frustrating things about Deco, is that if someone was selling an item that was outside of the catalog, there was so many workarounds you had to do to make it actually feasible to do it. And that's just not the case with these guys. So you can see here on the shops, the features and fees, they don't charge anything on physical products. But on digital products, they do take a 3% fee. So that's how they make their money, is they take a percentage of what you sell.
Yeah. Well, they also do print on demand. They have products. So go up to the product catalog there, Josiah. You can actually add products from this print on demand catalog, like shirts and mugs, and you can see different products there that they've got, hats and all these different things, aprons, and you can sell those. And they don't necessarily, you don't pay a percentage when something sells, because my guess is that either they're doing it themselves or they have a vendor that they've made an agreement with where they get, a percentage. So it's almost exactly like our Deco experiment in the past with print on demand products. And so you can choose from these products, then you can add your branding. They have mock-up generators, the whole 9 yards. And then once you sell something, they fulfill it for you, of course, and you don't pay a percentage or anything. And FourthWall makes the money on, that product that they printed or had a print partner print. And so I'm not sure about all of the pricing. I mean, as far as like each of the individual products, but I do remember when I looked at it in the past, it wasn't crazy. I don't know exactly how much it is, but we could maybe click into one of those. Let's see. For instance, a Comfort Colors garment dyed t-shirt, 1717. Wow. printed from $14.95, which is actually a really good price. Then you obviously have shipping on top of that, but still, that's not bad at all. You can even get them embroidered. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here with these products. And, if you were considering Shopify for your store, well, depending on, how you want to spin it, FourthWall might be a better solution for you if you don't, if you don't have like products that you just can't even get, because you can't like integrate anything into it. If they don't have it and it's print on demand, it has to be a physical product that you ship. So you'd have to manually, if somebody ordered something that they didn't supply, you'd have to manually go to you either have to have it at your house, and ship it, or you'd have to go manually and enter an order in on a Printify or a Printful or wherever and have it sent. And then you'd have to manually track, send the tracking back, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're just selling like t-shirts and some basic stuff, and it's a great, great option. It also has the ability to do memberships. So, because it's made for influencers, it's made for people who have an audience. And so if you have, an audience or, a bunch of people that are following you, you can actually create a membership for them. And then you could like offer them member only video or like a Discord channel or, those types of things. And FourthWall takes 5% of that. So it looks like they're taking stuff on the digital side of things, but not on the physical side of things. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And I was wondering to see how long it would be until someone like this would come along and do something that was congruent to a Patreon, because Patreon kind of started all this paywall stuff with content creators and this bonus content and sign up for these subscriptions. So the fact that you can house all of that here as well, instead of going onto Patreon and trying to link it to the store, that's really, really cool that it's all in the same ecosystem. So FourthWall.com, check it out if that's something you're interested in. If you're listening and you're an influencer, you have a podcast, you have an audience, check it out, give it a shot, and let us know, because I'm curious to see how this works and what the quality is, getting the samples, following all of our recommendations, because they are a supplier as well. So you're going to want to know exactly what they're working with or what you're working with. So give it a shot and let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's cool. And it's free.
Yeah, why not? That was the easiest pitch when talking to folks is, hey, you want free money? And I'll get into that more in our main event, talking about free and inexpensive marketing ideas for print on demand. So let's dive right into the meat and potatoes, the main event, with his new bumper that Travis actually made. He made this, guys. Wait.
Yep.
Wait.
That's the way.
On a cold, dreary night in September of 2020, Travis Ross and Josiah Cifuentes created the Print on Demand cast. This is the main event.
It's like an unsolved mystery. What happened in that garage on a cold, dreary night in September of 2020? All right. So this week's main event, again, talking about marketing ideas for print on demand. And we've got a lot of different stuff that we can hit on. But Travis, I think kind of the big one that is kind of the obvious thing to talk about first is social media, because there's so much marketing potential when it comes to leveraging the different various platforms that are out there.
Yeah. And I think as we go through these, it can potentially get overwhelming really quick, because there's a lot of things that you can do, but you don't have to do them all, but the one you choose or ones you choose, you want to do them well, and I am, I'm preaching to the choir right now, because I don't do very well with most of these. I do okay with some of them. But yeah, social media is obviously the kind of the lowest barrier to entry. And if we're talking about free, I say a lot, you're either going to pay with your dollars or you're going to pay with your time. And so social media, you don't have to pay any dollars, which is really cool. But you will have to pay with your time. And so what we recommend is, choosing a channel or maybe two channels and really going all in, understanding those things, understanding like the different things that you can do with those channels, because like Instagram, I mean, can you think about when we started compared to where Instagram is today and the different things that you can do? Like we started the print on demand cast anyway.
Right.
Think about what you could do back then versus what you can do today with that platform. It's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah. I mean, when we started, it wasn't even merged under one umbrella with
it wasn't
Meta.
Meta yet.
And so, there's so much more functionality. And again, something to think about when you're trying to decide which platform to start on is really what demographic you're trying to really appeal to. Because I personally I had some luck on Facebook. Most of my luck on advertising and stuff like that has been on Facebook on Instagram or TikTok, but it's just the different demographics. I think there's kind of this cultural idea that Facebook is now for the boomers and the older folks and grandpa. They get on Facebook to check everyone's life or write on their Facebook wall, because is that still a thing? No one knows. But then you get into Instagram and TikTok, and that's where more of the younger demographic is. The reels are there, the stories. Instagram's a little bit more friendly for like that quick scroll, images only. The image captures the most of it. So there's lots that you're doing now on Instagram, and then TikTok is, Gen Z and Gen Alpha or whatever the next generation after this one is, whatever they're calling it. But that's where a lot of the younger demographic is skewing, because just TikTok dominates so much of the cultural conversation when it comes to social media and viral trends. A lot of people are on there. And so TikTok Shop actually is a thing now. And that's why, is because it gives you the opportunity to sell things directly on TikTok. I think I shared this a couple of weeks ago, but I made my first purchase off TikTok Shop. I love sunflower seeds as a snack. And my family growing up, we had sunflower seeds instead of popcorn when we watched movies. So I see this video of this guy going up to a baseball player. Hey, do you like seeds? And the baseball player tries them. He's like, yeah, these are good. Oh, I like this flavor. And it was like $5 for a sample pack. And so I just clicked over and bought something from TikTok Shop. So they're integrating e-commerce directly into there as well. So it's definitely kind of a growing ecosystem in terms of the transaction as well, not just the advertising, but the ability to keep them in TikTok and just have them scroll over and purchase something of yours right then and there is a huge advantage as well. But again, Travis, you talked about this on the Facebook group and on Instagram last couple of days or weeks, is print on demand doesn't have to be all online either.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that you can do offline that are free and inexpensive marketing ideas, and they're specifically for your print on demand business. Print on demand doesn't have to be just online. So we've got episodes on influencer marketing, because and that can go obviously multiple ways. You can use influencer marketing by hiring an influencer to promote your products, and then when they do click over to the sunflower seeds, or t-shirt or whatever it is, it's your actual product that's going to get sent to them. And then that's one way to use influencer marketing. Or the other way is to use it the way you guys used to use it. And we used it with Deco Network. And so why don't you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So the other kind of flip side of that coin is reaching out to influencers who have a good following. And again, the lion's share of my luck doing this was on TikTok. And at the time, not everybody on TikTok had merch. Now it's very much a thing, but I would go find people that made funny content, had good followings, large numbers, had a good level of interaction with their followers. And I would just slide into the DMs, right? And just say, hey, love your content, love what you're doing. Have you ever considered merch? And have you ever considered doing merch at no cost to you? And a lot of the times it was that whole hook of, hey, it's free. You want to make free money? So either slide into the DMs or email them and make contact there. And then what happens then is you are working with the influencer to create the designs and decide on the t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. But then the influencer is doing all of the marketing to their captive audience for them to go buy the thing that this influencer just released. So all you have to do is market yourself as a business and a company to the influencer, and they take care of the actual bringing in the actual traffic to the site to purchase. Then you just print and fulfill what they bring in. And then you can either do, a percentage split or a certain amount, wholesale cost, whatever the split looks like. And then it's rinse and repeat for the months to follow. So it was a really, really fun time, and got to work with a lot of cool people that now have multi-million follower, accounts and have agents and stuff, which is wild. It's crazy to see where that's gone and how kind of, not saying that I was a forerunner, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that had the idea, but it was seeming to be at the tip of that spear, to where now it would be really hard to get in direct contact with an influencer, because agents are headhunting, massive, talent agencies are trying to get these creators in their quiver, as it were. And so it's the game. I'm sure it's gotten a little bit more complicated than when I did it, but it's still a very viable way to pursue influencer marketing.
Yeah, places like FourthWall didn't exist when you were doing that too. So
and if they did,
but I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, though, there's still some fruit on some fruit on the vine for this type of this type of marketing, or this type of kind of sales process. There's always new ways to do things. And so, you might not be able to contact that guy that has the 500,000 member group, but you might be able to get the guy who has the 10,000 member group, or the 5,000. They're up and coming. So that's something to consider, with this strategy. We did do a couple of episodes, episode 159 and 160, Influencer Marketing 101 and 201. I remember episode 160, I was actually on the road to California
you were driving.
when we recorded that. But those are two that you can kind of hear more about this technique, and how Josiah was using it back in the day. And then the episode 160, the 201, was the next week, when we were talking about an actual podcast listener that I kind of did some consulting with, and was giving him some ideas about how to use this using Shopify, and how he could potentially build a brand for multiple people in the same niche, and use affiliates and all of those things. So it's the well goes deep, I guess, is what I'm saying. We did 2 episodes back to back on it. That's how deep it goes. So check those out, episode 159 and 160.
Absolutely. The next thing you can do is Google Maps, claiming your Google listing, right? Wow. Did you hear that? That was
a
very loud thunder. So
that was thunder.
If I lose power, you'll all know why. It seems to be right on top of us. So Google Maps, you can claim your Google Map listing, your Google business listing. Travis, talk about this, because I know Make Your Mark has done that. And when you had a physical shop, it resulted in a lot of people just ringing a doorbell and saying, "Hey, I saw you guys on Google," or picking up the phone and saying, I'm looking for some memorial shirts or whatever. But talk about kind of how that free piece of marketing injected some revenue into the business, and it's just as simple as going through a process on Google.
Yeah, it really is that simple. I mean, even if you're working out of your house, I mean, you can do this. I mean, maybe you're not as comfortable, but I don't necessarily think anyone's going to show up to a residential neighborhood and knock on your door. It's more of you want to be in that map search, that Google Maps search, but you basically just go to Google Maps and find your location, and then you can claim that location as a business. And once you've done that, you get all of these tools that Google has created. You could do sales. You have a feed, almost like a Facebook, if you will, but for your business, and you can, blast things out. People can chat to you, and you'll get a little email, or if you happen to be on Google, it'll actually pop up, and it'll say you have a message waiting for you. They can call you. You can put your phone in there, et cetera, et cetera. There's all of these different things. And so I talked about it, I think, on the 200th episode, that I have literally 2 orders in the queue They should be done by the time this, podcast comes out. They're still getting shipped to me. Everything's getting shipped to me, but I have 2 orders in the queue for one emailed me and one called me from my
Nice.
Google Maps listing. And so all I have to do now, I mean, you could do this with a print on demand provider. You could say, hey, these are how much the shirts are, because the cool thing about it is you can have it all shipped to you or even have it shipped to them. And the more you order, obviously, the less the shipping is, because when they do bundle or when they do more than one, they lower the price. And so even if you only make, 15, 20% markup on these, items, might be worth your while if it's like a 50 print order. I have a actual flat press and a hat press, and so I can do some of that stuff here.
Right.
I posted about a laser engraved hat that I did for a company here that I didn't connect with them through Google Maps, but that's probably on a future one there when we talk about like community relationships. But the idea being they are repeat customers. And so will these new people potentially, if they're pleased with what we offer them. So it's just, to me, it's a no brainer. And I guess it really just depends on your level of comfort of marking your, if you do live in a house or an apartment or something like that, actually claiming that spot as a business on Google. But the cool thing is, if you do, you show up for that particular industry. You can show up for printers in your area when someone does a search like that. And you might get a phone call, you might get an email, and it'll turn into an order. Then you can figure out how to fulfill it.
Exactly. That's the fun part, is not wanting to say no and then figuring out how you figure it out from there. So, the next one, a local chamber of commerce, or Rotary Club, which this one's huge too. I'm looking for my day job, looking into the Fort Collins Chamber of Commerce, because I've heard that they are wildly active. They do like 3 networking things a week. And so they're just churning out events. But I went, and also you can do local chamber of commerce, Rotary Club, meetup.com. Also, you can find some good groups, some networking groups. I just went to lunch yesterday with this group that's industry specific, only one of each kind of industry. And so, went and had lunch and met some people and made some connections and explained what we do, or, what I do. And, it's one of those things where the point is to refer people to those businessmen in that group. That's how it becomes profitable for everybody. So, I mean, that's a lot of fun. I had a great time. It was out of my comfort zone because I was just walking in blind and no idea what to expect, but it was great. And I'll go back to the next one. And it's a really, really, it's watering seed. Might not get something immediately out of these kind of Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club connections, but it's a seed watering process where you're just that guy that becomes their friend, and they see you monthly, and all of a sudden you're talking shop and you have an option or the ability to earn their business, And then I was thinking yesterday at this lunch, everyone walked in, of course, sporting their swag. It's like everyone's got a polo, 100%. Everyone's got their hat, everyone's got their bag. Something like, man, if I was still in the print industry, this thing would have been incredible, because immediately I could have been talking about print on demand and how we can do, merch for your staff and do internal facing stores, and just would have cleaned up. But that's the cool thing about this industry specifically, where the industry that I'm in for my day job, not everyone is going to need. But as business owners, everyone wants swag. Everyone wants hats, polos, shirts, cups, mugs, whatever. So you're already of value to the people in the room. It's just up to you to earn their trust and tell them why you're different and how you can do it better than maybe the guy that they're using down the road. But I digress. It's a really good opportunity to make some connections.
Yeah. I mean, face-to-face is always the best way and easiest way to sell. And you're basically going to an event. Like, I was part of the Broomfield Chamber of Commerce. Now, this is definitely not free for a chamber of commerce, but you get a couple of orders and it becomes pretty cheap, percentage wise. So I did business with people from the chamber. And I actually, like, my insurance guy was a guy I met at the chamber, for those longtime listeners, you remember Josiah was in insurance for a nanosecond, and
Yes.
I transferred to him for my auto. And then when he got out of it, I was like, well, I don't have any allegiance to this company. So I jumped ship and went to this guy and took him all of my business. So he's making money from me and will continue to make money from me. And I will continue to make money from the businesses that I solicited and we did business when I was in the chamber. I actually I don't have my physical location in Broomfield, so I decided not to renew, but I still have relationships, still get emails from some of the people saying, hey, we're doing a thing, you should come by, and anytime I see an event in Broomfield that I know the chamber is going to be at, I can walk up and be, hey, and I have that rapport and relationship with them. So yeah, that really kind of dovetails nicely into the next one, which is community relationships. And this is where I would put that patch hat order that I was talking about with Western Cut. That particular relationship came from church. And you may not go to church, and that's fine, but you go to other places. Maybe you have other social outlets, other places you go, and you have.
I mean, sorry to interrupt, but to your point, the poker nights that you would go to, you were T-shirt Travis. You know what I mean? Like that was a nickname that you were given. And I'd go there and be like, oh, T-shirt Travis, and then your random Mexican friend that would show up with you every once a quarter, and I would be like, yeah, I'm here too. But the point is that you were known as the T-shirt guy, and that was a nickname that you were given, and that was another local community relationship that you had built with the people there. And so to your point, it might not be church, but really think about, and sometimes I think people get a little they overcomplicate this idea of what is a community relationship. Well, it's not church and I'm not in the chamber, but is there a place what's your cheers where everyone knows your name? Because that is your community relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it can be a poker night you go to once a month, once a week. It can be, a motorcycle club that you're a part of, that you guys hang out and talk bikes or whatever. But wherever you have that, your people, that is a great way to kind of use that community relationships to earn business and referrals.
I think one of the things that you have to overcome is the fear of telling people that you're doing this, because you haven't had very many sales. And so you're kind of embarrassed,
Sure.
Stop it. Just stop it. Okay. And own that you're doing this. That's the only way you're ever going to get these types of sales, and well, I don't know that I can't give them a good deal because I'm going through somebody else. Well, they don't know that.
They don't know. Yeah, exactly.
They don't even know they don't know how to get this stuff. You have so much more knowledge than you give yourself credit for.
Yes.
You have imposter syndrome. So stop it and start telling people, and become T-shirt Mary or T-shirt Joan or T-shirt Mike. I don't care.
Greg.
Garment Greg, there we go. But you have to get over that if you want to be successful in these not online parts of print on demand.
Yep. And I guess we should have given maybe like a wear your helmet warning before that, because last time we were very direct with people. They were like, man, I should wear my helmet because Travis beat me over the head with his advice. But I was just gonna say that, like, the hard part is you thinking, well, what if they ask me questions? How am I going to answer? And the reality is that you know more already than they do, because that's not their job. That's not what they're studying. That's not what they're investing in. That's not what they're learning about. So you already have answers that will satiate their curiosity and be like, oh, I had no idea that was a thing, or oh, that's what ring spawn is, or why do these t-shirts feel like crap? You know what I mean? Like you can give those answers. Yesterday in the lunch, there was a guy who's starting a brand new business, and he was very nervous. There were two guys. One of them was, I'm starting a business that is a tech business, and I come in and help you. I'll come in and help people set up their surround sounds, their movies, troubleshoot their computers. And he was very nervous about it. But the point is, he was there, he did it, and people were like, oh, so could you help my mom or my grandma, or could you go in and could you, because again, there's people who don't know what you know, and you can help them. So yeah, imposter syndrome is real, but you have to get over it. And if we didn't, we wouldn't be at episode 203. We'd still be talking about what if we did a podcast?
Right.
So
100%.
yeah. So the next one is content marketing. So Travis, I know you've done some content marketing, you've done some blogging and some guest blogs as well, for and kind of articles for magazines, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So content marketing is literally any type of content that you put out there that has a link back to your site,
Right.
It could literally also be on your site. So for instance, at printondemandcast.com, we have a blog, and there's different things that are like linking to outside websites and linking to inside websites. Part of that is for the Google SEO, and the whole thing is really for helping your Google rankings, your authority, your website's authority, if you have your own website. But you can do this even if you just have, an Etsy site, if you want. And if you have a brand, you can do this, and you can guest blog on other people's blogs and point them back to your products or your website or whatever. You can do it with video blogs. You could literally just start a YouTube channel and start talking about the things that you do and the niche that you don't have to put your face on it if you don't want to. And then in the description, you can link to your site, link to the products that you were talking about. The other cool thing about having your own website is that when you we'll talk about a customer follow-up strategy here in a minute, but you can get user-generated content, which is basically like people wearing or using your different products that you sell, and they'll actually take pictures of them in that shirt or whatever. But you have to ask. You have to have the boldness again to make that ask, and so but that is powerful. Like seeing other people, like when you go to an Etsy page and you see other people on that product wearing that shirt or whatever, in the reviews, that's powerful to future buyers. And if you can continue to build that up, get reviews, get pictures, get images, it can really go a long way to establishing that trust factor that we talk about in the know, like, and trust kind of three-pronged trident of sales.
Yes.
Is that I just dubbed that three-pronged trident of sales. Yeah. Okay.
Works for
we're
me.
Gonna go with it.
Makes the most sense. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean that's and even thinking about for us, a podcast is a way to do marketing as well, to position yourself. Starting a podcast, going on other people's shows. We go on other people's podcasts and we'll point back to the Print on Demand cast. User generated content is what we did on episode 200, having you guys send those messages in or write in so that we could use that content and use it as a testimonial for the show, or just an interaction piece to know that people are finding this content helpful. And so, I think it's great. Podcasts. Was it? We were at Podfest in Orlando. They said that no one runs to their, email every week and says, "Man, I hope that blog came through." But people will do that for a podcast. I know from experience. I know when my go-to podcasts drop, I know what day it is, and I know when to go look for the new episodes, so I can listen to them. So again, podcast is another way to do it, and it's a pretty low impact or low cost. So if you have more questions about that too, love to help you even get one of those started. So you mentioned, Travis, a customer follow-up strategy. So unpack that a little bit for those that are listening that don't quite know what that could be in terms of a follow-up strategy for their customers.
Yeah, I mean, once you start getting sales, I think this is so important because, again, it'll cost you time, but it's not going to cost you very much money. And basically a customer follow-up strategy is exactly that. When you create a customer or get a customer, someone buys something for you, you have a follow-up strategy. So you're going to follow up with a message on whatever platform that product sold on. So if it's sold on Amazon, you have a template that goes out or whatever. It doesn't have to be a template. You can do them manually if you don't get a whole lot of sales. It's pretty easy. Same thing. If it sells on Etsy, send them a message and you ask if everything went all right with your order. I hope you're enjoying it, et cetera, et cetera. Ask them for a review, and then also ask them for user-generated content. Say, it would mean the world to us if you would take a picture of yourself and include it in the, in the review, or send me back or reply to this email or this message with an image of whatever, because we would love to share your excitement about our products with the world, or something. I mean, that may be overboard, but you get the idea of having some type of follow-up messaging that happens every time you sell. There are products that you can get that will do this automatically if you have a whole lot of sales, but at the beginning you can just do it yourself. Create that template, send it out every time something sells. You'll be surprised. You'll probably get about 10%, is kind of an average. I guess that depends on the niche that you're going after, the type of person that you're going after. But if you get 10%, that's pretty great. So you get a review out of that, one out of every 10. Maybe by doing this, it bumps it up to 20%. You get 2 out of every 10 because you're actually asking for these things. I highly recommend an email service, an email marketing of some sort. In fact, we use ConvertKit for the Print on Demand Cast VIP list, and you can go sign up if you're not a part of that, printondemandcast.com/VIP, and you'll get our annual design calendar, which you probably heard it on the front and end, the advertisements at the beginning and the end of this show, and you get something from us. And so you can do that same thing with your print on demand store. You can say, hey, in that follow-up email, I would love to put you on our email list and offer you 20% off anything in our store. And if they really do like your brand, that might be an enticement for them to send you an email. And then you have that person's email. You can remarket to them for free forever. That's the cool thing. Well, until they unsubscribe. But you can continue to market to them. Hey, we put out some new stuff in this niche and it's great. And you liked this niche, so you should buy it, and because you're on my email list, I'll give you an additional 10%, whatever your margins can handle. But you get the idea. Email marketing is super, super powerful. And I believe that it should be a part of your customer follow-up strategy. ConvertKit, you can go to printondemandcast.com/ConvertKit. It's actually free until you get to a certain number of subscribers, or you can upgrade to do some extra stuff. But just having an email list with the ability to email them whenever you want is free until you hit until you hit a certain number of subscribers. So at the beginning, there's no reason you shouldn't be doing this. Highly recommend it. printondemandcast.com/ConvertKit. Put that in the show notes. And what was the other one that I mentioned? There was another link that I wanted to, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. If I think about it, I'll put it in the show notes. How about that?
Yep. Just dive into the show notes and see what's there for you. So we talked about email marketing, collabs, and partnerships. Again, that can be online. It can be offline. It can be putting on an event with another company. One of the ideas that we kind of tossed around was, helping sponsor an event and being there to provide merch, or like sublimatable T-shirts or mugs. They're on site, just being in there with the other business that's putting on the event. In my day job, it looks like, in the senior living community, there's a company called Dementia Together, and they put on some educational courses for people who have family members that are going through dementia. And we partner with them and help kind of bring some more educational resource and let people know our services. So it's just collaborating to help each other out and leverage each other's audiences and our knowledge in that particular industry. So there's lots of stuff you can do in collabs and partnerships.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've heard of people, again, if you have some equipment, potentially like a flat press or something like that, partnering with schools and PTA clubs or sporting, like the athletic director, and say, hey, can I come to the wrestling tournament and
Yeah.
sell my wrestling tees, and I can customize them, or I can't customize them, whatever, either or.
Yeah.
But I have really cool shirts, and we could, and you could literally just buy some transfers with the school logo and your cool designs. And then you go to that school, and then word gets out, and pretty soon you're doing these wrestling, shows or wrestling tournaments
Right.
all over your area, and you're making a lot of money because transfers don't cost a lot and garments don't cost a lot. But a parent buying something to cheer on their kid at a wrestling they'll pay a lot. So
Oh yeah.
you do the math.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then the last thing would just be old school business cards. We just go old school. So like we have,
Mhm.
for my job, we've got, I have old school business cards and my picture on it and information about the company. The back talks about the services that we provide. And then the other
Mhm.
thing that we give to people as well after when we're working with them is this little thing right here. And on the back, it's a QR code, and it takes them to leave a Google review to talk about their experience with us. And so we give both pieces out at different times in the kind of relationship with the client and the life of us working with them. So, but
Mhm.
old school works, man. You go to networking events, they're going to want your business card. Exactly.
Yep.
They're going to
This is our
want
new This is our new
nice.
business card for our band, 10-cent profit. And just on the back,
Nice.
it's just got some, I didn't do these, because they would have been a lot better, but my bass player did them, and he just put like our Facebook group, and thebash.com has our band on there as well. So, and then a phone
Yeah.
number so they could text or call. But yes, 100%. All of these things that we talked about, that are local community based, like you don't go to a networking event without business cards. It seems old school, but it definitely works.
Yeah.
Or all these companies would go out of business. So pretty easy to design. They're relatively cheap, and then you just have them. I remember we when I was running the Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference, I Paul and he was my co-creator, and we ran it together. We bought a bunch of Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference cards, and we put like, get a 10% discount. And then when we would go to shows, because we did a lot of traveling back then, we would go to Vegas for, different shows that we knew Amazon people would be at. I would
Yeah.
literally leave them in the bathrooms, in the stalls, on the toilet paper dispensers, and just everywhere I'd go, I just put them, because they're so cheap, I just put them everywhere and hand them out as much as I possibly could. And who knows if it worked or not, but you get
Yeah.
the idea. Um, it can create awareness, and it can also remind them of you when they're home after the event or whatever, and they are emptying their pockets, and they go, oh yeah, that guy from that band, man, I really want to have them at my event. Or that,
Yeah.
t-shirt, man, I really do need to get some shirts for my small business.
Right.
I need to give this guy a call.
Yep. Yeah. So old school, the one thing that I would do as well, with for apparel sometimes is gas stations. You put them in it. Might
Mhm.
make people mad, but you put them in a little card reader that they have to put their card in to pay for the gas, and you just kind of leave it hanging out there.
That's
they
awesome.
they got to take it out if they're going to pay for their
Yep.
gas. Is the thing. So give it a shot, see what happens. The gas
That's
station might
that's
ask you
next
to stop.
level, man.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
that's ninja mode right there. That's super cool.
Yeah, awesome. Travis, anything else on this before we round this thing out and bring a close to episode 203?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, don't be ashamed about what you do. This is awesome.
Yeah,
You are helping a lot of people, and you know more than you think you do. So don't be
absolutely.
ashamed. Tell people. You'll be surprised. Um, Good things will come your way. You'll probably get some clients, or
Yeah,
some people that at least are asking for quotes from you, if you just get out of your own way, and tell people what you do. Tell people what you can do for them.
yeah, Absolutely. So let us know how it goes. If you guys have other questions, you can, of course, reach out to us. As Travis said previously, printonmancast.com/VIP is where you can go to sign up for our email list. You'll get that design calendar and exchange to help you kind of prepare for the things that are coming up in the future in terms of holidays and events that you'll want to be gearing towards in your designs and what you're going to be selling. And so if you haven't gotten your design calendar, by the way, you can just reply to one of those emails. And we will let you, and you can let us know, and we'll remedy that as well. And you get a bonus dad joke, which I think is what people really like, is a bonus dad joke to use in your social circles as well. So if you use a dad joke in one of these community kind of connections, chamber of commerce meetings, whatever, let us know how it goes, how many groans you get, and then be sure to say, hey, we got it from printonthemancast.com or from the Print on Demand Cast, and it's a great podcast. So thank you guys so much for listening. Again, have a happy and safe 4th of July. Whatever you are doing to celebrate, we hope that it is safe and fun, celebrating our country and freedom. And it's going to be a great, great day. So until next time, for Travis, I'm Josiah. We'll see you right here on the Print on Demand Cast.
See ya.
Hey, babe. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. We hope you enjoyed the Totally Tubular Show. If you've got a question or a suggestion for the show, send Travis and Josiah an email at info@printondemandcast.com. Want to be wicked nice? Take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe now so you don't miss next week's episode. See you next time, for sure.